The worst betrayals always come wrapped in birthday cake and fake smiles. I'm Kellan Brooks, 33 today, and I'm watching my wife Elara light candles on what might be the last cake we'll ever share. She's humming some tune I don't recognize, her auburn hair catching the kitchen light just right. Beautiful as always, treacherous as a snake in Eden. Make a wish, honey, she says, sliding the chocolate monstrosity across our granite countertop. I already made my wish 3 weeks ago when I installed the recording app on her phone. Amazing what a software engineer can accomplish with 5 minutes and a distracted spouse. Let me guess, I say, keeping my voice light. You invited Mason from your office again. Her smile flickers. Just for a second, but I catch it. He's bringing wine, the good stuff. Mason Reddan, her boss at the PR firm. 42, divorced, drives a BMW he can't actually afford. I've done my homework on Mason. Credit reports, social media deep dives, even his gym membership records. Call it professional curiosity. The doorbell chimes like a funeral bell. That'll be him, Elara says, practically bouncing toward the door. I blow out the candles and make my real wish. That everything I've discovered about my wife is wrong. But wishes are for children, and I stopped being a child the day I found those text messages. Mason strolls in like he owns the place, carrying a bottle of wine that costs more than most people's car payments. He's wearing his usual uniform, expensive suit, cheap cologne, and the kind of smile that makes you want to check your wallet. Kellan, happy birthday, buddy. He claps me on the shoulder like we're old friends instead of barely acquaintances. Hope you don't mind me crashing the party? Not at all, I lie smoothly. Mi casa es su casa. He laughs too loud at that. Elara laughs too. They share a look that lasts exactly 2 seconds too long. So, Mason says, uncorking his wine without being asked, Elara tells me you're between projects right now. Between projects? That's a creative way to describe being laid off from the engineering firm where I'd worked for 6 years. I told Elara that news in confidence, in our bedroom at 2 a.m. after I'd spent hours staring at the ceiling. Something like that, I say. Well, you know what they say about the tech industry, feast or famine. He pours 3 glasses, hands one to Elara first. At least you've got this beautiful wife to keep you motivated. Elara practically glows under his attention. She's wearing the red dress I bought her for our anniversary last year, the one she claimed was too fancy for casual dinners. Mason's been so supportive at work, she says, really helping me advance my career. I bet he has. My phone buzzes. Text from my buddy Evan at O'Malley's bar. Recording equipment ready when you are. I slip the phone back into my pocket and smile at my guests. Should we eat? I'm starving. Dinner is a masterclass in subtle torture. Mason regales us with stories about his corporate conquests while Elara hangs on every word. He mentions a conference in Miami next month. Elara's coming with me, he says, cutting into his steak. Big client presentation. Could really make her career. This is news to me. Miami sounds nice. When exactly? The 15th through the 18th, Elara says quickly. Too quickly. I nod like a supportive husband. Inside, I'm calculating. The 15th is our wedding anniversary. 5 years of marriage, and she's planning to spend it in Miami with her boss. You don't mind, do you, honey? She asks. Of course not. Work comes first, Mason raises his glass. To understanding husbands. We drink. The wine tastes like ashes. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. After dinner, Mason excuses himself to the bathroom. Elara follows him with her eyes, then starts clearing plates with unusual enthusiasm. He seems nice, I say carefully. He's amazing, really brilliant, and so generous with his time. I bet he's generous with more than his time. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a notification from the app monitoring Elara's messages. New text thread with someone labeled M in her contacts. I excuse myself to the kitchen and check the message. Your husband seems suspicious. We should be more careful. The response from Elara's phone. He doesn't suspect anything. He's too trusting. Too trusting. That stings more than it should. I close the app and rejoin my wife and her lover in the dining room. They're sitting closer together now, their heads bent over Mason's phone, looking at what appears to be work documents. Everything okay? Elara asks. Perfect, I say. Just checking on dessert? The rest of the evening passes in a blur of forced conversation and meaningful glances between my dinner guests. Mason leaves around 10, kissing Elara's cheek goodbye and shaking my hand like we're sealing some kind of deal. Great meeting you properly, Kellan. We should do this again soon. Absolutely, I agree. Very soon. After he leaves, Elara disappears into the bathroom for 20 minutes, probably texting him about how well the evening went, how oblivious her husband is. I sit in my home office, surrounded by the evidence I've been collecting for 3 weeks. Photos, text message screenshots, credit card statements showing charges at hotels I've never been to. A paper trail of betrayal that would make a forensic accountant weep. Tomorrow, I start phase 2 of my plan. Tonight, I'm going to lie next to my wife and listen to her breathe, knowing it might be the last peaceful moment either of us has for a very long time. Some birthday gifts you give yourself. Morning comes with coffee and consequences. Elara's already gone when I wake up, off to an early meeting that probably involves Mason and a hotel room somewhere downtown. She left a note on the kitchen counter. Happy birthday again, love you. The exclamation point feels like a slap. I spend the morning doing what I do best, digging through data. My laptop becomes mission control for Operation Scorched Earth, though I haven't decided if that's what I'm calling this yet. Maybe something more personal. Operation Happy Anniversary. First stop, Mason's social media profiles. The man has 0 privacy settings, which makes my job easier. His Instagram is a monument to his own ego. Expensive restaurants, business trips to cities I recognize from Elara's work conferences, gym selfies that scream midlife crisis. One photo stops me cold. It's from 2 weeks ago, taken at some rooftop bar in Boston. The caption reads, "Celebrating a successful client pitch with my amazing colleague." The colleague isn't visible in the frame, but I can see a woman's hand holding a martini glass. Red nail polish. Elara's favorite shade. I screenshot everything. My phone rings. Evan. How'd the birthday dinner go? He asks, like watching a car accident in slow motion. That bad? Worse. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Evan's quiet for a moment. He's known me since college, back when I thought the worst thing that could happen was failing organic chemistry. What do you need? Meet me at your bar tonight, and bring that recording equipment you mentioned. Kellan, whatever you're planning, I'm planning to give my wife exactly what she deserves. Nothing more, nothing less. After I hang up, I dive deeper into Mason's digital footprint. Credit reports, property records, professional licensing boards. The picture that emerges isn't pretty. 3 maxed out credit cards, 2 missed mortgage payments, and a complaint filed with the Better Business Bureau about misappropriated client funds. Mason Reddan isn't just a cheater. He's a barely functioning disaster waiting to happen. Perfect. I spend the afternoon crafting emails. Not to send yet, just to have ready. One to the PR firm's HR department, another to the state licensing board, a third to Mason's mortgage company, helpfully providing information about his undisclosed income sources. Elara comes home at 6, looking guilty and satisfied in equal measure. How was your day? She asks, kissing my cheek like nothing's changed. Productive. I'm meeting Evan for drinks later. Oh, she seems relieved. I might turn in early. I'm exhausted. I bet you are. O'Malley's bar sits in the kind of neighborhood where people mind their own business and the lighting is dim enough to hide secrets. Evan's worked here for 5 years, ever since his accounting firm downsized him into unemployment. He's got the bartender's gift for listening without judging, which makes him perfect for what I need. Show me what you've got, I say, sliding onto a bar stool. He produces a small digital recorder, no bigger than a matchbox. Voice-activated, 8-hour battery, uploads to cloud storage automatically. My cousin's a private investigator. He swears by these. Perfect. Kellan, are you sure about this? Maybe you should just confront her. Ask for a divorce. Clean break? I take a sip of the whiskey he's poured me. It burns going down, but not as much as the betrayal burns going up. Evan, my wife is planning to spend our anniversary in Miami with another man. She's been lying to my face for months, maybe longer. A clean break isn't what she deserves. What does she deserve? I think about that for a long moment. Consequences. Real ones. The kind that follow you around for years. Evan nods slowly. What do you need me to do? Mason comes here sometimes, Thursday nights usually, likes to play big shot, buy rounds for strangers. I need you to get him talking. About what? About my wife. About their relationship. About his business practices. Whatever he'll give you. And if he doesn't show? He will. Guys like Mason can't resist an audience. We spend the next hour planning. Evan's got a natural gift for getting people to overshare, especially when alcohol is involved. Add the recording equipment, and we've got everything we need to document Mason's confessions. There's something else, I tell him. I need to know about their Miami trip. Hotel reservations, flight times, everything. How am I supposed to find that out? I slide a piece of paper across the bar. Mason's email address and his password hint. He uses the same password for everything. His college mascot plus his graduation year. Took me 10 minutes to crack. Evan stares at the paper. This is definitely illegal. Probably. You in? He pockets the paper. What are friends for? I get home to find Elara in bed, pretending to sleep. Her breathing is too controlled, too careful. She's listening to every sound I make, probably wondering if I suspect anything. I brush my teeth, change into pajamas, and slip into bed beside her. In the darkness, I can smell Mason's cologne on her hair. Good night, honey, she whispers. Good night, Elara. Sweet dreams. But I'm the one who's going to be doing the dreaming. Dreams of justice, dreams of revenge, dreams of watching my wife's carefully constructed lies crumble into dust. Tomorrow, I start making those dreams come true. Thursday arrives with unseasonable rain and perfect timing. Mason's email account, accessed through Evan's questionably legal methods, reveals a treasure trove of incriminating evidence. Hotel reservations in Miami under both their names. Dinner reservations at restaurants I can't afford. Even a jewelry store appointment scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. He's buying her gifts with money he doesn't have. How romantic. But the real goldmine is in his work emails. Mason's been skimming client retainer fees, hiding the money in a personal account, and using it to fund his lifestyle. The paper trail is so obvious it's almost insulting to my intelligence. I forward everything to a secure email account I created for this purpose. Then I draft a comprehensive report, complete with screenshots and financial analysis. The kind of document that ends careers and starts criminal investigations. My phone buzzes. Text from Elara. Working late again. Don't wait up. Working late. At 6 p.m. on a Thursday, when I know for a fact that Mason is planning to be at O'Malley's by 8. I text back, no problem, love you. The lie tastes bitter even in text form. At 7:30, I position myself in the coffee shop across from O'Malley's. Through the rain-streaked window, I watch Mason's BMW pull into the parking lot. He's alone, which means Elara's probably at a hotel somewhere, preparing for their evening together. My phone rings. Evan. He's here, Evan says. Already 3 drinks in and talking loud about some big deal he's closing. Perfect. You recording? Everything's documented. This guy really loves the sound of his own voice. I settle in to wait. Patience is crucial for what comes next. An hour later, Evan texts me a preview. Got him admitting to the Miami trip. Says he's planning to propose to his girlfriend down there. Wants to leave his wife for her. Propose. The word hits me like a physical blow. Mason's planning to propose to my wife on our anniversary weekend. I text back, keep recording. I'm coming over. The rain has intensified by the time I cross the street. O'Malley's is crowded for a Thursday night, which works in my favor. More witnesses for what's about to happen. Mason's holding court at the far end of the bar, regaling a group of strangers with stories about his business acumen. He's drunk enough to be loud, sober enough to be coherent. Perfect. I slide onto a bar stool within earshot and order a whiskey. Evan catches my eye and nods slightly. The recorder is running. So I tell this client, Mason's saying, you want results, you pay premium rates. That's how you separate the professionals from the amateurs. One of his audience members, a woman in her 30s, looks skeptical. What kind of work do you do? Public relations, crisis management. I've got clients who pay me 6 figures just to keep their names out of the papers. That's interesting, since I know for a fact that Mason's biggest client pays his firm $30,000 a year total. Must be nice, the woman says. It has its perks. I'm taking my girlfriend to Miami next weekend. 5-star hotel, private beach access, the works. Your girlfriend. The woman glances at Mason's wedding ring. Mason twists the ring around his finger. My wife and I have an understanding. We're getting divorced anyway, just waiting for the paperwork. Another lie. I checked the court records this morning. No divorce filing, no separation agreement, nothing. What's your girlfriend like? Someone else asks. Mason's face lights up. Beautiful, brilliant. Married to some loser who can't even keep a job. She deserves better. The whiskey glass in my hand suddenly feels very heavy. She knows about your wife? Of course. We don't keep secrets from each other. Honesty is the foundation of any good relationship. I nearly laugh out loud at that one. Mason continues his performance for another 20 minutes, each lie bigger than the last. He claims to own a vacation house in the Hamptons, rental property, 2 weeks last summer. He brags about his connections to celebrities. He once did PR for a local car dealership. He even suggests that his girlfriend might leave her husband soon. She's just waiting for the right moment, he says. Her husband's kind of pathetic. Unemployed engineer, no ambition, no prospects. She's embarrassed by him. That's when I decide I've heard enough. I stand up, finish my whiskey, and walk over to Mason's group. The alcohol has made him expansive and careless. He doesn't notice me until I'm standing directly behind him. "Excuse me," I say politely. "I couldn't help overhearing your story." And Mason turns around, and I watch his face cycle through confusion, recognition, and panic in the space of 3 seconds. "Kellan." His voice is barely above a whisper. "Hello, Mason. Interesting conversation you're having here." The group around him senses drama and leans in closer. Nothing draws a crowd like the promise of public humiliation. "I was just telling everyone about your girlfriend, the one who's embarrassed by her unemployed husband." Mason's face has gone pale. "Look, I think there's been a misunderstanding." "Oh, I understand perfectly." I pull out my phone and open the Photos app. In fact, I understand a lot more than you think. I show the screen to the woman who'd been asking questions. It's a screenshot of Mason's hotel reservation in Miami, clearly showing 2 guests under the names Mason Reddan and Elara Brooks. "That's my wife's name," I explain helpfully. "Elara Brooks? Maybe you know her?" The woman's eyes widen. The rest of Mason's audience has gone completely silent. "Kellan, please," Mason starts. "Please what? Please don't mention that you've been stealing from your clients to pay for hotel rooms. Please don't bring up the jewelry you're buying with embezzled money. Or please don't tell everyone that the woman you're planning to propose to is already married." Mason stands up abruptly, knocking over his bar stool. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Actually, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm a data analyst, Mason. Research is what I do." I turn to address his former audience. "Did you know that Mason here has missed 2 mortgage payments in the last 6 months? Or that he's got a complaint filed against him with the Better Business Bureau for misappropriating client funds?" "That's enough," Mason snarls. "Oh, we're just getting started." I pull up another screenshot, this one showing Mason's credit report. Maxed out credit cards, defaulted car loan, and a tax lien from the IRS. But hey, at least he can afford to take other men's wives on vacation. Mason lunges toward me, but Evan appears between us like magic. "Gentlemen," Evan says calmly, "let's keep this civilized." Mason looks around the bar, realizing that everyone is staring at him. His carefully constructed image is crumbling in real time. "This isn't over," he tells me. "You're absolutely right," I agree. "It's not over. It's just beginning." Mason storms out, leaving his tab unpaid and his reputation in ruins. The woman who'd been asking questions earlier approaches me. "I'm sorry about your wife." "Don't be," I tell her. "I'm not." Because I'm not sorry. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm betrayed. But I'm not sorry. Sorry is what you feel when something happens to you by accident. This was no accident. This was a choice. A series of choices, made by 2 people who thought they were smarter than the unemployed engineer they were betraying. They're about to learn how wrong they were. Friday morning brings consequences and coffee in equal measure. My phone has been buzzing since 6 a.m. with increasingly frantic texts from Elara. "Mason says you were at O'Malley's last night." "Why didn't you tell me you were going out?" "We need to talk." "Kellan, please call me." I can explain everything. I don't respond to any of them. Instead, I spend the morning putting the finishing touches on my masterpiece, a comprehensive dossier detailing Mason's financial crimes and my wife's complicity in covering them up. The beauty of being married to someone in public relations is that you learn how their industry works. Client confidentiality agreements, expense account procedures, the difference between legitimate business travel and personal vacations billed to corporate accounts. Elara helped Mason hide his embezzlement by creating fake client meetings and fictional work events. Her signature is on dozens of expense reports that I can now prove are fraudulent. She's not just an adulteress, she's an accessory to corporate theft. At noon, I email the complete dossier to Mason's HR department, the state licensing board, and the IRS fraud investigation unit. Then I sit back and wait for the fireworks to begin. They don't take long. My phone rings at 12:30. Elara, sobbing. "Kellan, what have you done?" "I've done exactly what any reasonable person would do when they discover their spouse is committing crimes with their lover." "It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You've been helping Mason steal money from his clients." "You've been lying to me for months." And you were planning to spend our anniversary weekend in Miami while he proposed to you. Silence. Then, how did you know about the proposal? Mason announced it to half the bar last night. Apparently you're going to leave your pathetic, unemployed husband for a man who can provide for you properly. More sobbing. I never said that. You didn't have to. Your actions said it for you. Please, Kellan, we can work this out. I made a mistake. You made dozens of mistakes. I have documentation for all of them. I hang up and turn off my phone. I don't want to hear her excuses or her promises or her desperate attempts to salvage a situation that's already beyond salvation. Instead, I drive to the office building where Mason works. It's a gleaming downtown tower that probably costs more in monthly rent than I made in 6 months at my old job. The kind of place where appearances matter more than substance. Perfect hunting ground for someone like Mason. The lobby is all marble and glass, designed to impress clients and intimidate competitors. I approach the reception desk with the confidence of someone who belongs here. I'm here to see Mason Reddan, I tell the receptionist. Do you have an appointment? He's expecting me. It's not technically true, but it's not technically false either. Mason should be expecting me. If he's half as smart as he thinks he is, he knows what's coming. The receptionist calls upstairs. After a brief conversation, she hangs up and looks confused. I'm sorry, but Mr. Reddan is no longer with the company. No longer with the company? He was terminated this morning. Security escorted him out around 11. Faster than I expected, but not surprising. Corporate theft investigations move quickly once they have documentation. What about Elara Brooks? She works here too. Another phone call, another confused expression. Ms. Brooks has been placed on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. I thank the receptionist and walk back to my car, feeling oddly anticlimactic. I'd been prepared for a confrontation, maybe even a public scene in Mason's office. Instead, I find that justice has already been served by corporate policy and HR procedures. Sometimes the system works exactly as it should. My phone has 17 missed calls when I turn it back on. 14 from Elara, 2 from Mason, and 1 from a number I don't recognize. I call the unknown number first. Mr. Brooks, this is Detective Martinez with the Financial Crimes Unit. We'd like to speak with you about some information you provided regarding Mason Reddan and Elara Brooks. Of course. When would be convenient? How about now? We're at your house. I drive home to find 2 unmarked police cars in my driveway and Elara's Honda nowhere to be seen. Detective Martinez is a woman in her 40s with the kind of patient demeanor that probably serves her well when interviewing white-collar criminals. Thank you for providing such thorough documentation, she says as we sit in my living room. Cases like this usually take months to build. You've saved us considerable time. Happy to help. We'll need you to testify if this goes to trial. Both defendants are facing serious charges. Both defendants. The phrase has a nice ring to it. What kind of charges? Embezzlement, fraud, conspiracy, tax evasion. Mr. Reddan could be looking at 5 to 10 years. Ms. Brooks, as an accessory, probably 2 to 5. Prison time. I hadn't expected that, but I'm not sorry to hear it. After the detective leaves, I sit in my empty house and try to process what's happened. This morning I was a betrayed husband planning revenge. Tonight I'm a key witness in a federal investigation. My phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Meet me at Riverside Park. Come alone. E. Elara. Using someone else's phone because she knows I won't answer hers. I should ignore the message. I should let the lawyers and the courts handle everything from here. I should move on with my life and let my wife face the consequences of her choices. Instead, I grab my keys and drive to the park. Riverside Park sits on the bluffs overlooking the harbor, all walking trails and scenic overlooks designed for romantic evenings and family picnics. At 8 p.m. on a rainy Friday, it's deserted except for the occasional jogger. I find Elara sitting on a bench near the water, looking smaller and more fragile than I've ever seen her. Her red hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she's wearing the same clothes she had on yesterday. Thank you for coming, she says without looking at me. I sit on the opposite end of the bench, maintaining distance. Talk. I never meant for it to go this far. Which part? The adultery or the embezzlement? She flinches. I didn't know about the money at first. Mason said the expense reports were standard procedure. When did you find out? Last month, maybe 6 weeks ago. I saw some documents I wasn't supposed to see. And you didn't report it. I was scared. I thought if I said something, I'd lose my job, maybe face charges myself. So instead, you decided to run away to Miami with him. Tears start flowing down her cheeks. I was going to tell you, after the trip, I was going to ask for a divorce and explain everything. While wearing the engagement ring he bought with stolen money. She looks up at me for the first time. How did you know about that? I know about everything, Elara. The hotel reservations, the jewelry store appointment, the lies you told your friends about me. I know that you've been planning this for months. I felt trapped. Our marriage was falling apart. You lost your job. I didn't know how to. So you decided to have an affair with your boss and help him commit crimes. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I study her face in the dim light from the park lamps. 5 years of marriage, and I'm not sure I ever really knew this woman. What was it supposed to happen like? I thought Mason and I would be together. He promised he'd leave his wife, get a better job, take care of me. I thought we'd have a life together. Built on stolen money and lies. I know how it sounds. It sounds like you threw away our marriage for a fantasy. Mason's broke, Elara. He's been living on credit cards and embezzled funds for months. Even if none of this had come out, he couldn't have supported you. She's crying harder now. I know. I figured that out too late. When? Yesterday. When he started talking about the Miami trip like it was some kind of business investment, like he was buying an asset instead of proposing to someone he loved. I feel something that might be pity, but I push it away. Pity is what got me into this situation in the first place. The police say you're looking at 2 to 5 years. I know. Your career is over. Your reputation is destroyed. You'll probably never work in PR again. I know. Was it worth it? She looks at me with red-rimmed eyes. What do you think? I stand up from the bench. The rain has stopped, but the air still smells like storms. I think you made your choice. Now you get to live with the consequences. Kellan, wait. She reaches for my hand, but I pull away. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. I know you are, but sorry doesn't fix this. Is there anything I can do? Anything at all? I consider the question seriously. Is there anything she can do to make this right? Any gesture or sacrifice that would balance the scales? No, I tell her. There isn't. I walk back to my car, leaving her alone on the bench by the water. In my rearview mirror, I can see her silhouette against the harbor lights, small and broken, and finally facing the truth about what she's done. Tomorrow, I'll start rebuilding my life. I'll look for a new job, maybe move to a different city, definitely find a good lawyer to handle the divorce proceedings. But tonight, I'm going home to my empty house to open a bottle of wine and toast the end of my marriage. Some endings aren't happy. They're just necessary, and sometimes that's enough.